solid crown arches over the Puget Sound. Berenice's hair drapes the horizon to the air. There is my lucky star tonight, the seventh sister of the Pleiades, walks in beauty like the night. Oh, that is best, dark and now lost to me. Only trust in the northern star, that's the only point that's fixed. I once believed in love, even love cannot bridge this rift. Where is my lucky star tonight? The seventh sister of the Pleiades.
If you would like to hear Night Dreams Talk Radio on your local radio station, let them know. Tell them to check out www.nightdreamstalkradio.com, and thank you.
You can advertise your business on Night Dreams Talk Radio, and you will be heard worldwide. Why not contact us at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com. Night Dreams Talk Radio, After Dark, wants to give a big shout out to all the truckers that listen to our show. Night Dreams Talk Radio Network brings you the World Paranormal News with James Creechbaum. Now, the latest news.
I'm James Creechbaum with the Paranormal and World Changes News. Well, just recently, this is a report from Stan Gordon, a small sphere on the ground blocks motorists, and that was just a couple weeks ago in Fayette County, Pennsylvania. When people talk about UFO descriptions, they commonly refer to the classic disc, as well as a triangular cigar in the more recent years. However, these objects are generally spherical in shape. They have been elongated and other configurations reported. They are commonly only a few inches and about a foot or two in size. Now, this report goes on to say another strange association with these reports is that they're not commonly known. Is that there have been cases where a Bigfoot was observed in association with a similar small luminous spheres. An incident of this nature occurred near Pittsburgh, and that was 2 months ago in 2019. Most interestingly, these objects quite often have approached close to human observers as well near homes and moving vehicles. There have been reports of these smaller objects hovering in front of the windows of these dwellings and even bumping into windows at times. There have been cases where these objects have entered homes and vehicles through open windows, then moved around and inside before exiting out an open window or other area that were then gone from sight. More recently, one of the research associates, he came across this object on the road. About 4:30 p.m., I received a call from a nearby witness who was aware I investigate unusual events. And the transcript follows. I was coming home from a Mason town on a Bourbon road. As I went over the top of the rise, I saw this ball in the road just sitting there. It was about 2 feet across and was blocking the road. I couldn't get around it, so I stopped. I sat there for a minute, then decided to get out and move it so I could continue home. I even thought about taking it home as a oddity. But when I opened the car door, it started to just fade away. Not quick. It took a few seconds to vanish, but then it disappeared. It never moved, just faded away. I closed the door and wondered, what the heck was that? After that, I just went home and nothing else to say. Again, there's all kind of reports of these going through, and this is in Pennsylvania, and these are recent. These are recent sightings of these spears, usually about 2 feet in diameter, and different variants of colors. Also, Texas has become a UFO hotspot with hundreds of sightings, including a lot of snake-like objects being reported. Along with that, Austin, Texas has a couple of different UFO sightings recently. And again, there's a lot of these snake-like UFO sightings. We don't know what the heck's going on with that, but strange lights have been seen all over lately in the west, southwest Texas. And again, there's a lot of different reports. A lot of the snake-like ones have been coming in. Now, the next news break, top of the hour.
Coming to you from some far point station, like a cosmic tumbleweed, both north and south of the Pleiades. Here's your host, Gary Anderson.
Just waiting for that thunder to go past the compound here tonight. This week has just crept through so fast. You know what? When you're a young kid, a day is like a year. When you start getting past your 50s, a day is like 20 minutes. I swear to God. You know, a week to me is like what a day used to be. It just zooms right by. I don't know if you noticed that, Earl.
Oh, yeah.
And I never get things done. You know, it's never ending.
You have a smaller piece of the pie now. When you're young, you have the full pie. You keep cutting wedges off of it, you have a smaller piece of the pie. So there's, it just seems like it's quicker.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny because I have 8 adult children, ranging all the way up to their early 40s, all the way down to a set of twins at 26. But I'm not going to say who, but one of my kids came up to me a couple of weeks ago. They said, Dad, I mean, you've been kind of famous off and on through the years on radio. And when you pass on in the near future, what am I going to do? What am I going to do with your archives? What do you want me to do with them? And then, Dad, what are you going to do with the house? And I said, well, I don't think me and your mother are going to pass on at the same time. And I'm not planning to go away for at least another 20 minutes.
Oh, man.
Now, I don't know if you have any children or if you had that talk, but
yeah. I got three kids. Yeah, 2 grandkids too.
What I really like, one time, one of my other kids, I was doing, we got a 6,000 square foot house. We got a mini farm. And I one time refinanced the house to do some work on, the mini farm. And one of my kids came up to me, but Dad, why are you spending that extra money? It's going to be less for us when you pass on. Now, that was 19 years ago.
Oh, man.
It makes you wonder what the young people are thinking. Yeah, I never thought about that. I never once went up to my dad when I was in my 20s or whatever age and say, hey, Dad, am I in the will? How much am I getting?
God. Yeah. I mean, my parents weren't all that well off. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot to the will. So, it's just kind of abstract thinking about that. But, well, I guess, your kids, they were thinking about their future. And I guess that they, if anything, they have a reasonable idea of the timeline of our lives. And so, I don't know, maybe they're being smarter than I was anyway. I didn't think about that stuff either, really.
No, I don't know. I used to look at people when I was in my 20s like, gee, you're 40 years old. Man, you are over the hill. But now, I mean, I'm going to, January 8th, hint, I'm going to be 68 years old. And, except for my slight handicap, which is getting better, I don't feel 68. What really astounds me, some of my friends that are even younger than me, I can't even stand to talk to them anymore. Because to me, they seem like they're 110, if you know what I mean. They can't even carry on a logical conversation.
Yeah, I mean, the only way that we can beat this thing, the timeline that we all carry with this is just to try to stay young. I mean, you have to have passions in your life, stuff that keeps you excited and happy. That, I mean, I love what I do for MUFON. It's my greatest, the best thing that ever happened to me in my life was becoming a UFO investigator. I get to hear all these weird stories where there's oftentimes multiple witnesses, and you can kind of attack these stories from every single side, but when you have 5 people that saw the same thing and they're all speaking from their viewpoint, you can't really throw that away as a hallucination or aggrandizement kind of thing that somebody came up with to get whatever. I mean, I hear a lot of people saying, oh, well, people are into the UFO thing for the money, and it's just not there. I mean, Giorgio from Ancient Aliens has a nice house that burnt down with the last big fire we had out here, by the way. Poor Giorgio. I think he had good insurance, but I mean, unless you're Whitley or Giorgio or somebody, it's a labor of love. I mean, you're trying to get the word out there. That's what I do. Humanity is being contacted. We're being engaged by non-human entities, and that's huge. I mean, it's huge news. And even, the Navy and the Army have come forward saying, we want to hear your UFO stories. We're taking it seriously now. After 70 years, of threatening people and telling them that they're going to court-martial them and send them off to the boonies and stuff if they talked about their UFO sightings, the military is actually encouraging people to come forward now. So it's a new day in ufology, and as far as I'm concerned, disclosure happened a couple years ago when the Tic Tac, the Nimitz affair, was a front page story on the New York Times. If you go and you Google that story, it's a very, very serious story. It's a front page story about UFOs, and that the Navy is confounded with what happened here off of Catalina Island. And we're talking about craft that was 40 feet across, shaped like a Tic Tac, that was going Mach 18 without creating sonic booms, making 90-degree turns, and was under intelligent control and playing cat and mouse with a squadron of F-118s.
Well,
UFOs
I want to jump in.
Are serious business.
It is.
For it.
Bruce McAfee has been on my show numerous times. We talked about that. What happened with that Nimitz, and he said that it couldn't be anything from our planet because the speed it was going, the Mach, and I can't remember what it was, but he said that the Mach speed they were going, anything human or humanoid would have been nothing more than liquid.
Yeah.
In there.
It was 18 times the speed of sound, is what it was. It should have been creating all these sonic booms, and it did. So it's evading the laws of physics as we know them. And that was a very, very real incident. And there are others that have come out, with a video, gun camera video, and the whole shebang. And if you can't trust your military, you can't. I get great UFO reports from police officers. I had a police officer that believed that he was abducted right out of his cruiser, and he had a download, and he was suddenly doing, abstract math equations that he said that he had like a D in math when he was in school. This is worst subject, and suddenly he's figuring out these equations that he thinks have to do with 0-point energy. I have a military guy. I have a Marine who was stationed in Camp Pendleton